Now to President Trump possibly expanding the use of the military on American soil, considering sending National Guard troops into major cities like Baltimore and Chicago. The president facing backlash for casting Democratic-led cities as crime-ridden and lawless. The war of words now escalating. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
Tonight, as President Trump's mobilization of nearly 2,000 National Guard troops to the nation's capital nears the end of its second week, a U.S. official telling ABC News planning is underway to potentially expand that mission and send the National Guard to Chicago. The plans first reported by the Washington Post. No official deployment has been ordered, and the Department of Defense declined to speculate on future operations. But in the Oval Office this week, Trump suggesting his focus could soon shift to other Democratic-run cities.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker pushing back, saying there is no emergency that warrants Trump federalizing his state's National Guard or sending active duty military within our borders. And a spokesperson for New York Governor Kathy Hochul telling ABC News crime is down across New York City and state, and the president's attempts to invoke military power undermines work being done. But Trump's authority beyond Washington, D.C., a federal district, is limited. And even in that city, Democratic officials arguing Trump is abusing his power, declaring a crime emergency, even with violent crime already at a 30-year low, according to police data. And in nearby Maryland, Governor Wes Moore also drawing the president's ire, touting Baltimore's falling crime numbers and challenging Trump to keep the city's name, quote, out of your mouth. The president lashing out, writing, "If Wes Moore needs help, I will send in the troops," which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime. Governor Moore calling Trump's threats unconstitutional and hypocritical.
For a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety.
The state of California and its Governor Gavin Newsom sued the Trump administration this summer after the deployment of hundreds of National Guardsmen and active duty Marines to Los Angeles. That case is still playing out in court.
Jay, another example of President Trump expanding the use of U.S. troops on American soil, but the authority Trump exercised in Washington, D.C. can't be used the same way in other cities and states.
Yeah, Mary, that's something White House officials, even Vice President J.D. Vance, have acknowledged in the last few days that they have more power over D.C. than other American cities. And there are also these constraints on how National Guard troops can be used. If they're called up by a governor at the request of the president, then they have full law enforcement authority. But if the president federalizes them without the involvement of a governor, then they're limited to just protecting federal buildings and personnel.